I have here a recommendation and also kind of a little public service announcement. Now, the manual I'm showing you here is Soldier's Manual and Training Guide for Special Operations Engineer Sergeant. Now, when you look this up, this is the actual manual. This is what you're going to find the most, a civilian reproduction or reprint. Now, the number on this manual is STP, which is Soldier's Training Publication, 31-18C, and it'll be 3 or 3-4. 3 means it's skill level 3, which is squad leader, skill level 4, which is platoon sergeant. And then we have -SM-TG. Now, this is the one you're going to find the most, but this is the ones you should be looking for. This is the actual military manual, not reprinted. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of this, but you should be because I've made mentions in the past, there are certain books that have been altered under recommendations or threats from governmental agencies. Things like the Anarchist Cookbook really comes to mind. When I looked through this copy here, the copy that you can find the easiest and the most online, if you look on Amazon, eBay, or anywhere. It has this glossy cover on it. It's smaller, as you can see, than the actual manual. When I looked through here, I did find there is missing information that you need to know to do certain tasks, and there's also misinformation that's added in there to make the task not turn out the way you want it to. And one example I can show you really easily is with this. Now, this is a TMD Bravo, a improvised mine designed by the Soviets back during World War II that has appeared everywhere. So it does appear in the Special Forces manual. Now, when you read through the manual, especially in this reprint here, it says to arm the mine, you open up the pressure board, you install the fuse. You then close the pressure board and reinstall the locking board. Does anyone see how that's a bad thing? Right now it closes because there's no fuse. As soon as you put the fuse in here, this little piece right here, when it presses down, it will activate that pressure fuse. So by closing the pressure board, which you will have to do in order to reinstall the locking board, you just detonated an anti-tank mine in your face. Now, another problem that I found in that mine was when I was reading through on some of the tasks for bouncing Betty type mines, like the OZM-3, OZM-4, USM-16, and all the other versions around the world. Now, what it said in there as some of the last steps you do, you run your tripwire back to the mine, you tie it to the pin that sets off that fuse. Now, that would be correct at that point. But it goes one step further in this version. It tells you at that point to remove the fuse or remove the pin that you just tied the tripwire to so that the enemy could trip the mine and set it off. So once again, this version is telling you, giving you a step that will detonate the mine in your face. Now, this particular copy I have, I personally am going through and fixing some of the steps inside here for my own personal reference. Putting steps in the correct order and putting in the correct names for some of the fuses used and things like that. Trying to make it correct. So, of these two, if you get the chance and you ever come across it, you come across the actual military version, and it looks like this. Okay, it is considerably different than this. If you can come across this version, the actual military manual, I recommend you get it. If all you can get is this version, be advised that anything involving explosives or booby traps or mines that are in this version probably have been doctored to deliberately cause you to be injured or killed. So there you go. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essay ons.